Wife got pregnant from my own younger brother. My wife 36 female and I 39 male have been married for 15 years. I have a son as well 13. My family comprises of my mother, 58, father, 62, sister, 30, and younger brother 22. Last year, I discovered my wife sobbing in our bedroom. I consoled her, and she informed me that she was pregnant. I was overjoyed and told her what wonderful news it was. Her face changed color, and she tells me it is and exits the room. It was strange. During that time, I also discovered that I was spending too much time on the phone. Because the COVID situation was high and no one could come in here, I took care of her alone, cooking and cleaning. She delivered a healthy baby girl. She's lovely, exactly like her mother. Fast forward to last month and this month, when my brother used to visit us regularly, which I thought was okay until it became daily. But hey, he's my baby brother. This month, we traveled to our parents' house for a 2-week trip. I saw my wife getting uncomfortably close to my brother. I was the principal earner for both sides of the family. My father had a few stores that I had direct control over. I am an investment banker, and we also have many houses that we rent out. So I was busy most of the time, but whenever I got home, I noticed my wife and brother spending time together, which was strange given that she had previously been close to my sister. I also noticed my sister spending more time with me. I have a feeling something is wrong, and my sister wants to tell me something. I question her multiple times, but she tells me that everything is okay. My father invited me to go fishing with him last week. It was just me and him. I agreed, and he began telling me tales about fish and how he spent his time with his father here. Dad goes on to say how terrific of a son I was and how proud he is of me. I get a feeling there's something greater going on. He also expresses his dissatisfaction with my brother's lack of ambitions. He doesn't work, uses marijuana, and is an alcoholic. My father was not very close to my younger brother, but my mother was. When we were about to go, he tells me he needs to go someplace, hands me the fishing gear and a tiny piece of paper, and walks away, ordering me to open the paper when he's gone. My whole life is turned upside down as I open the paper. It was a DNA test. I'm not my daughter's father. I get to my house, which was full with family members, and confront my wife and brother. They acknowledge it and apologize to me. It was a mistake, he said. I later learned that it has been going on for a year, and that they both adore one another. Wife comforts me by claiming she can't alter what occurred, and that she would always be sorry for me. I'm a great husband, father, and son, but I can't be a good lover because I spend too much time outdoors. Remember, I take her on vacation twice a year, have date nights once or twice a month, and we get physical 2 or 3 times a week. I often asked her whether she was okay. She could have told me once, she could have spoken. My sister joins in, saying she knew but couldn't bring herself to tell me. My mother arrives with the baby after hearing the ruckus. She tells me she can't influence the result. My wife and brother already have a child, and my kid has grown bonded to it. It's time for me to accept it and move on. I was the bigger brother, and I owed them forgiveness. I confronted her, saying, "How can my own family betray me like that?" I informed my wife that I don't need a woman with whom I have to compete with other guys, despite the fact that she is my wife. I told her she received the divorce papers, and I informed my backstabbing brother that I'd always stood up for him. And now, he's the one backstabbing me, and I left. My phone was exploding. My father has informed me that he is with me, but that he cannot say anything publicly because of my mother. He apologizes for being a lousy parent. I was also informed my mother was aware of the affair, but she chose not to discuss it. I told him I didn't mind. I don't need a family that stabs me in the back, and he is more than willing to cut me off from the family after divorce. I haven't yet informed her relatives. My SDBXW calls and messages me 100+ times every day, and my son misses me. My brother has not yet contacted me. My sister expressed regret to me. She told me she should have, but she couldn't be a nice sister, and that I am her role model. She is always pleased to have me around. I haven't responded to them in any way. My mother phoned to remind me that we all make mistakes, and that if I choose to forgive, we can be a family again. She implied that my children need a father role, and that if I am unable to be present, my brother would care for my family. They told me that the court would not grant me custody, and that if she stood up for them, things would go poorly for me. That enraged me, so I blocked her. I haven't spoken to any of them in the last 2 days. Divorce might be costly in our town, but it is what it is. I haven't told a soul about it. I haven't slept properly, and I'm unable to eat anything. I feel as though I've lost my purpose for living. I've lost everything in a week. Everything. My family, my wife and children, my dignity. I want to die because my existence has no meaning. At least not right now. I spoke with the lawyer. All I have to do now is file RN. My lawyer informed me that I would be required to pay spousal support. Obtaining primary custody will be difficult. It will take a long time to complete the divorce of my daughter's parents. I adore her even if she is not my daughter. Divorce is costly in our country. I'm thinking around $900 per month in spousal support for her and her kid, 50/50 custody of my son, and half the asset. I also realized I typed DNA test, but it was really a paternity test for my daughter and brother. It verified 99% of the claims. Yes, my brother was 7 years old when my wife and I married. I realize it's a repulsive reality. Update. After learning the news, I left the home to organize my money, meet with attorneys, and initiate divorce procedures. I received the documents on Friday. Wife arrived. We had a discussion. She informed me that she did not want a divorce for our kid. She apologizes and admits her mistake. I tell her I'm getting a divorce anyhow and hand her the paperwork. She had the audacity to invite "Oh, I'm going to give in." I told her to leave immediately. My sister, who lives in the Netherlands and was here for vacation, departed early after this sh*t show, angrily abusing my wife and mother. She phoned me and we spoke. She apologized for her actions. She was placed in a difficult situation since her mother urged her not to tell me. She informed me that her mother was concerned about my health and how I would respond. Also, my younger brother pressured my mother into doing this. Things were more apparent after that, but it doesn't make me feel any better. Many of you told me this was a hoax, and I hope it was. You may choose to think it occurred, and my life is now in which I can't do anything. It's disintegrating. Everything I cared about. Or just ignore it. Whatever. On Saturday, I also met my son and spent the day with him, bringing him to a prominent gaming zone in town. I told him what I had in mind. He claims to be aware. My mother weeps every day, and his mother, my wife, has just died. She is at a loss for what to do, conflicted. Another reason, my younger brother just smokes marijuana and consumes booze. He refuses to accept his obligations. Sister and I have previously decided that we would remove our names from the family and refuse any inheritance. I'm going to cut myself apart from my family and relocate to a distant nation. My sister has already said that she would assist me if I decide to go to the Netherlands. After a year of divorce, it may be my last destination. It's not easy. Days long and difficult, particularly when you consider the event. I've lost track of how many times I puked. My blood pressure is quite low, as are my sugar levels. My father contacted me yesterday afternoon to tell me that my mother was in the hospital. During lunch, she had a severe stroke and slumped at the table. Her health isn't in excellent shape. Dad informed me that she wanted to meet with me, and the doctor advised us to pray. Her condition isn't good enough for her to be released. For the time being, the wife is in charge of everything. My brother is just staying for a few hours before departing. My newborn daughter is at the hospital with my wife, as are my son and father. This, according to my father, may be it. He wants me to go there. I informed my sister. She is torn about it. I'm being truthful. A portion of me wants to go see her, but the bulk of me does not. She is my mother anyway, yet she chose to betray me. She decided to inflict pain on me. She opted to support my wife rather than me. It wasn't the adultery that bothered me, nor was it the fact that my wife had slept with my brother and preferred him over me. It was all of my family's betrayals. It was everything that everyone knew, and no one decided to tell me. My mother prioritized her other kid and threatened to cut me apart from the family. Now she's in the hospital and wants to meet with me. In this sense, I am not doing well or pleased. Every day, I consider suicide. Therapists are terrible. They don't do anything else but rant or aid you. They're a squander of money. Many of my relatives came to see my mother in the hospital. A few close relatives found out about my wife's infidelity. My favorite uncle totally ruined her right in the hospital by calling her and my brother the most awful things. Dad told me this, and it took my teenage son to bring my uncle back to his senses and bring him back to normalcy. It's a complete shambles. I've spoken with a few friends and they advise me to divorce. Go on, relocate to another nation, and settle down with someone else. I'm completely clueless. I don't have any plans since I just can't right now. I can't think of anything to plan. I've also spoken with my lawyer. He informed me that if my mother did not leave a will, I would be entitled to a portion of her estate. I won't be able to acquire it if I renounce my inheritance or if she cuts me off. Nothing of the kind occurred. I'm not interested in inheritance, money, or family. I simply want my son so I can go away from this godforsaken family and be normal. Paternity will be more difficult to establish than divorce itself. In most countries, cheating isn't a deal breaker or a trump card. Being a Psalm, on the other hand, is a curse that may ruin you in a variety of ways. However, if I can leave my inheritance part, it may offer me an advantage and prevent me from having to pay spousal support. But it all comes down to mutual agreement. I discovered that I may also file a complaint in my own country against my affair partner, who in this instance is my brother. Because my kid is a juvenile, I may also get a restraining order against my wife and brother for my son, as the use of alcohol and drugs is prohibited in my country. So there is some hope for me. But right now, I'm split between my mother's illness and my own. I can't believe what 3 weeks can do to a person. It is, without a doubt, the lowest period of my life. My kid is the only thing holding me back.